Okay, hello everyone. Today in this tutorial, I will show you how to deploy your Django web application into the AWS Cloud. Um, First of all, let's see what requirements we need to have. Here I am showing you the documentations from AWS, and in the prerequisites it says that we need to have Python, pip, virtual env, and the command line interface for Elastic Beanstalk. All right, so these four. Of course, we need to have Python installed, but here we have to be careful in which version we have to install. This must be in accordance with our cloud platform and the web framework. In this case, in this particular case, we're going to use Django. Here I have a summary, which is in the documentation also. And for the Beanstalk, which is the service we are going to use today, as we are going to deploy a EC2 instance, it has a version. For instance, it says that the instance that AWS Beanstalk provides us is Amazon Linux 2 version 3.2.1, and it can run Python 3.7 or Python 3.8. Also, there is Python 3.6. I'm gonna choose the middle, Python 3.7. All right, and also here I have the Django documentation, which is important to match the Django version with the Python version. So if we have stated that our Python will be 3.7, then here we see that for 3.7, the Django version should be 3.1, which is the latest, and that's good. Okay, so in my case, for instance, I have Python 3.7.5. In the documentation, it says that the language is 3.7.9. I should have this same version as the cloud platform we're gonna deploy, but I have tried with 3.7.5 and it was okay. But you can try with the very exact version. All right, 3.7.9. All right, so we have Python, and when we install Python, it comes with the pip and the virtual env, which are two dependencies that we're gonna use. The first one allows us to install many other dependencies, and the virtual env creates a virtual environment to manage or to isolate the dependencies for the web application. This is the first. The first thing we gotta do is we have to create our folder. I'm gonna locate myself and to go to desktop, and here I'm going to create a folder. Let's give it a name. Make their tutorial folder. I'm going to access this folder. Folder, and inside this folder, I'm going to create an environment with this command, virtual env, and then the name of our environment. Let's call it VENV. All right, it says created virtual environment with CPython 3.7.5, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so when we create our environment, it not only ends there, we have to activate it. If I do an ls, I see the folder, and since I'm using right now this terminal that comes with the installation of Git, this terminal is an emulator of Linux, a mini emulator of Linux. It's called Ming W64, if I'm not mistaken in its pronunciation, and it allows us to use Unix commands on this Windows machine. So I can do like source venv scripts and activate. All right, I have the environment completely activated. Then let's see inside what dependencies do we have. If I do a pip freeze, I have nothing, which is good. I have to install our first dependency. All right, so as I was saying, let's install Django. Pip install Django. Let's not forget the version of it, which is 3.1. All right, pip install Django. Okay, it's taking our time. All right, let's see again pip freeze to see what dependencies it has installed. It says as ASGREF, Django, PYTC, and SQL parse. All right. So without further ado, let's create our web application. You may have one already. I'm going to create a simple one. Okay. So with this, with Django -admin, with this command Django -admin, then start project, and the name of our project, which is let's name the file as follows, like my first app. All right. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I'm going to create another project because I don't like this name, my first app, but my first project, it should be PHP. All right, if we do an LSLA, we have two projects. It doesn't matter. We're going to deploy this one, okay, because I didn't like the name of the first one. And let's see what we have inside of our project. Oh no, I didn't no. Okay, LSLA, and let's locate inside let's locate ourselves inside the my first project folder. Okay, we have our manage.py file and this folder with the same name as our project. Let's run it. How? Well, let's do a Python. You may wanna use our manage.py and followed by a run server. And let's see. It says watching for file changes with the start reloader. Let's go into our web browser and access the local host on port 8000. And we see this beautiful starship. And it said the install works successfully. Congratulations. So it is the local deployment is finished. Okay, I terminated the process with Control-C, and we have to prepare the next requirements. Okay, let's do a tree, but -L4. All right. We see the structure of the project, and we're going to add one additional folder and one additional file. Let's begin with the additional file. The additional file, it's going to be the requirement.txt. Okay, so this requirement.txt file is a txt file, of course, and inside of it we're gonna put the dependencies listed. And this file, we're going to send it to the cloud. All right, on the cloud we see it, we'll read it, the list, and we'll install the dependencies, but not here but there. First, what were the dependencies we saw? With freeze, and these four, and we proceed to copy, right, to send this output into our file named requirements.txt. Right, you may want to check it with them, and it is good. Okay, it has the dependencies for Django. Let's skip it. Let's see again the tree, the structure, and we have a requirement.txt. Perfect. Now you may want to create a folder, make it there, named .env extensions. Okay, E as elastic, V as, well, elastic beanstalk, and extensions. And what's going to be inside? The extensions. But precisely a file. Precisely, we're going to put inside this folder one file with the name Django. Let's create this Django.config. Oh, the name was incorrect. Let's remove it, and let's correct the name of the file, config. No. I was about to delete something non-existent, so let's create it with them. And you may want to check on the documentation again. If you scroll down, it says that once you create your directory with extensions, you create a file named Django Config, and it has to have this description where this word, if Django, you may want to change it to the name of the project. In this case is my first PRG. All right, let's escape. I check it again. It's correct. All right. Okay. Let's see again how we have the project folder. Let's do a 3 -L and 4. And okay, I don't know. Well, with this command, I should see the folder, but maybe I'm missing something here. Not on the process. The process is good. I can see it with LSLA. I can see the folder with extensions, so it's good. So it's clear. And let's deactivate the environment. We're not gonna need it anymore. We do this with deactivate. What did I do is I deactivated the environment, the local environment, because I'm not gonna need it. I'm going to create instead an environment, but on the cloud. So here I have the AWS Management Console, and if you click on all services, there is compute, and in here there are many options, and one of them is Elastic Beanstalk. This is the one we're gonna use for our purpose. And also, if you go if you scroll down a bit, you see here that says build a solution, and there are 6 cases, and there are even more cases, but one of them at the beginning says build a web application with Elastic Beanstalk, and that is what we're gonna use. We're gonna do right now. I'm just showing you this. All right. So it shows you how you can do that, but since I'm using Django, I'm going to do it myself, going along the documentation. All right, so I deactivated the environment. I'm going to come back here, but later. Now let's deploy. Finally, we have to deploy. We have everything, and now we're going to deploy, and we see that we have this. It's correct. We have this almost the same files with the same names. And well, we have to create the environment. The same environment we created for the local, we're going to create it well a similar one on the cloud. But before going in order, we're going to create the application, right? With this command, evinit -p and Python, here we have to put the version that we use to create the web application in our local, and let's give it a name of the application, but in the cloud side, right? It's not, this name is going to be reflected on the cloud. Let's give it a name like my first cloud application, and you may want to wait. All right, then you init again, and it says cannot set up code commit because there is no source control setup, continuing without initialization. All right, do you want to set up SSH for your instances? Yes, because I may want to access the instance later. And I have to select a key pair. I have my key pair already on the first option. You may want to create a new one if you want. But more importantly, we have to create our environment. So we do ev create, and Django env is good for me. I mean, the name of the environment, and you might want to wait a bit. It is not that fast. All right, it's done. And there is a log with the steps it did for the creation of the environment. You may want to check this. It will make a lot of sense. But we're not gonna focus on this right now. Instead, we're gonna just use the environment. But there is something important. You have to do an ev status, and here you see the status of more information of the environment deployed, and it has given us a DNS name, okay, that we are going to assign into our application. If you check on Elastic Beanstalk and go to services and to Elastic Beanstalk, now you see on environments it has been created. Our platform with Amazon Linux 2, with a tier name web server, and with environment name that we have given. And if you go to applications, there is my first cloud app, Django Env, and there's something interesting. If you go here and look, if you do a here instead, let's do an EV open. And it says disallow host at. Oh, it says that invalid HTTP host header. Why? Because it is not registered on the allowed host of our Django application, and it's true. If you do an LSLA and you go to the my first project, inside of the my first project folder, you see a settings file, settings.py, and let's beam this file. And here into allowed host, there is nothing, and you may want to change this. And here, you may want to put the DNS that the environment has given to us. And you can click onto this URL and copy and paste it. All right, so let's correct this. And let's save it. I'm sorry, one moment. I'm going to go back. I think it's a good practice to create your control version. So let's do a git init and git status and git add everything that we have created. And let's do a commit -m and committing all files once. All right, and it's done. We have the versions, the control version system with Git, and since we have done a modification into the settings.py file, let's redeploy the Django application. How? Well, you do with ev space and deploy. And it says something. This branch does not have a default environment. You must either specify an environment by typing ev deploy or set a default environment. Let's see which environment we have. We have just one, right? We don't have many, and we choose this ev.use and .django. All right, now we can deploy. And we'll wait. So, just to sum up, the first creation was okay, but since the assignation of our DNS was after the creation of the project, of the Django project, we have to do a modification of the allowed host list. Instead of just the default, we changed it to this URL, which is going to be the URL where to access from anywhere to your application. It says that it has completed successfully. Let's test it again. Just go here again and just, all right, just refresh the page. And now you see that you are accessing the web application from the cloud, not from your local computer, but from the cloud. You can click on this URL, give it to your friend, and tell them to try, and they're going to upload to see that you have successfully deployed. So this is the tutorial. I hope you like it. I hope it can come useful for you. Thank you. Till next time.